We have the Washington Commanders taking on the Steelers. This is your Week 10 2024 prediction and preview video. Hit subscribe if you're new. Also hit the like button. Let's start off with the home team, the Washington Commanders. This team is 7-2, and they're one of the best teams in the NFL. This is their biggest test up to this point because the Steelers have a strong defense and a strong run game as well. When you look at Jayden Daniels throughout this entire season, he has easily been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and right now he has to be Rookie of the Year. When you look at the touchdown to interception ratio, 9 passing touchdowns to 2 interceptions, 1,945 passing yards. And he's helped leading one of the best offenses in the NFL, rushing and passing as well. And we saw this on display last week against the New York Giants, and they swept the New York Giants this season. They won the game 27-22. Jayden Daniels was very efficient. 15 of 22 on the day, 209 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns. He also had 35 rushing yards. Austin Ekeler was able to go out there and get a lot of production, 42 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. And you also had a running back come in because you were missing Brian Robinson Jr. So you bring in Chris Rodriguez Jr. He went out there. He led the team in rushing yards with 52 rushing yards. Be on lookout for him this week if Brian Robinson Jr. cannot play in this game. And Noah Brown had 60 receiving yards, while Terry McLaurin had 2 receiving touchdowns for 19 receiving yards. In this game against the Steelers, you have to get the football out quick. And that's something that the Washington Commanders have done a great job of this season. But this pass rush is different. The Steelers have Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, and Cameron Hayward. You have to get the football out quick as possible and make sure that the Steelers have to make tackles in space. Get the football to Terry McLaurin in short yardage situations, but I expect for their number 1 cornerback and Joey Porter Jr. to be on him for majority of the game. The Steelers will also run some zone coverage here and there as well. Jayden Daniels has been very good against certain zone coverages, especially against cover 2. So be on lookout for that. But you have to get the football out quick, and you have to stick with the run game. The reason why this team lost a couple weeks ago to the Baltimore Ravens, the run game was non-existent. And that bothers me in this matchup because the Steelers have a top rushing defense in the NFL. And not only just that, they're coming off a bye week. You have to get the run game going, and you have to be patient with the run game as well. And you can really use that time possession. We've seen Jayden Daniels go out there and sling the football around. You don't want to do that too much in this game. Get Jayden Daniels on the move. Get Austin Ekeler on the move as well. And if Brian Robinson Jr. can go, get him involved. If he can't go in this game, that's fine. You have Austin Ekeler. You have Chris Rodriguez. You also have Jeremy McNichols as well, who came in and gave you solid production last week. He had 20 rushing yards. Wasn't the best, but he gave you something. That's what you have to do in this game. You can do running back by committee, but run the football, try to gas out the Steelers defense, and run some up-tempo plays as well. With Noah Brown, get Zach Ertz involved in short yardage situations, especially in the red zone, and target Terry McLaurin as much as possible. I can imagine that the Washington Commanders are going to try to stretch the field early on against the Steelers, but you have to be careful with that with this pass rush. This offensive line has been up and down this season, but Jayden Daniels has been all world for this team. Far as the defense for the Washington Commanders, passing wise, they're one of the best passing defenses in the NFL, hands down. Their secondary has been very good, but they have not been able to stop the run. You have to go out there and stop the run in this game. And I'm not saying go out there and stack the box against Russell Wilson and George Pickens, but you have to go out there and you have to contain Najee Harris. This man, the last 3 games, has had over 100 rushing yards. If you can't stop the run against the Steelers, they're going to continue to run the football, work off of play action. They're going to use time possession. That's what they want to do. They want to beat you up, and then they want their pass rushers to get behind you. The reason why the Commanders have to stop the run in this matchup, because if they don't, you're going to put yourself into a situation to where you're trying to throw yourself back into the game. And then TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith can pin their ears back, keep the Steelers guessing, run some different blitzes here and there, and get after Russell Wilson. I like the defensive line with the Washington Commanders in this matchup. You have a lot of key pieces. You have Cleveland Farrell, who has been solid against the run in the past. He has 2 sacks on the season. Daron Payne, one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. He has to be a game wrecker in this game. Dorrance Armstrong as well, 3 sacks on the season. You'll like to see more production out of him. But obviously, without Jonathan Allen, the defense has not been the same up front. And you're depending on a rookie and Johnny Newton as well from Illinois to go out there and make some big plays. Pay attention to Dante Fowler, Frankie Louvu, and Bobby Wagner in this game. There's their linebacker trio. They've been hot and cold this season. I think that Frankie Louvu is one of the most complete linebackers in the NFL, and he can go out there and he can be a game wrecker in this game, but they have to stop the run up front. And I trust Dan Quinn to go out there and try to stop the run as much as possible, but don't sell out in the run. Also, for the defense of the Washington Commanders, take away George Pickens. May other weapons on this team beat you. As I record this video, neither team has made a trade. So right now, the Steelers have George Pickens, Big Pat at the tight end position. Make a guy like Van Jefferson beat you over the top repeatedly. And if he does, make adjustments from there. But the Washington Commanders, they're in good shape right now. This is going to be a tough football game for them overall. Now let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, because the Steelers, just like the Washington Commanders, they're a red hot team as well. When I look at the Steelers over the last 2 games with Russell Wilson, he has played excellent football. In the first half, he's gotten off to a slow start, but in the second half, he's been red hot. He was red hot against the New York Jets. He was red hot against the New York Giants as well. And over the last 2 starts with the Steelers, Russell Wilson has put up 542 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns to 0 interceptions. And that's going to be the key in this game. Just like how the Washington Commanders have only had 3 turnovers this season, you could say the same thing for the Steelers. Since Russell Wilson has been the starting quarterback, they have not turned the football over as much. And yes, he did have a fumble late in the game against the New York Giants. But besides that, they've played pretty clean football with Russell Wilson. You have to get the run game going in this matchup against the Washington Commanders. Their pass defense is elite in the NFL. They have one of the best passing defenses in the NFL, but you have to run the football. Now, something's going to have to give. The Washington Commanders have struggled to stop the run in the past. Look at what Derrick Henry was able to do to them. Go out there, run the football as much as possible with Najee Harris. And with Najee Harris coming off this bye week, just like the entire Steelers team, they should be rejuvenated. Najee Harris in his last 3 games has had over 100 yards rushing in every single game. He had 100 yards rushing against the Raiders, the New York Jets, and the New York Giants as well. Run this offense through Najee Harris and through Jaylen Warren as well. Cordell Patterson is questionable for this game. Do not sleep on him. This is the same man that went out there and had a very good outing against the Indianapolis Colts before he hurt his ankle. I can see the Steelers trying to assert that dominance up front. It's not going to be easy because you do have some talented names on the defensive line of the Washington Commanders, but if it would be a team that will go out there and try to take advantage of the suspect rushing defense of the Commanders, it would be the Steelers, especially with Arthur Smith calling plays. Like I mentioned, as I record this video, neither team has made a trade. Calvin Austin III last week had a punt return. He had a receiving touchdown as well. 2 touchdowns on the day. Get him involved early in this game and obviously feed George Pickens. George Pickens had multiple opportunities to score touchdowns when they went against the New York Giants. One was brought back because of a penalty. The offensive line has to be better in that aspect. And I'm talking about Broderick Jones in this situation. And the second one, he could not get his left foot down. Those offensive miscues cannot happen in this game because you're dealing with an explosive offense with the Washington Commanders that can run the football and can pass the football as well. Go out there, be patient, take your time, use time possession, and feed George Pickens, especially in the red zone. And Russell Wilson, throughout his entire career in the NFL, has been one of the best quarterbacks in the red zone area. And the same with Jaden Daniels as well this season. But you have to take care of the football, run the football as much as possible, and feed those running backs. And also be on the lookout for Big Pat in short yardage situations. They're starting to get him more involved in this offense since Russell Wilson has been the starting quarterback. But it's going to come down to his offensive line. The big rookie center, Zach Frazier, he's questionable for this game. Hopefully he can go. He's missed the last couple weeks dealing with an ankle injury, but he's one of the best centers in the NFL when he's been a starter for the Steelers. You also look at Mason McCormick at the right guard position and Broderick Jones as well and Dan Moore Jr. This should be a physical game for the Steelers offense and for their defense as well. And speaking of their defense has been lights out this season. They stop the run game and they pin their ears back and they get after the quarterback. The same way that they went out there and they attacked the New York Giants, you can have the same type of game plan against the Washington Commanders, but this is the problem. Jaden Daniels can get rid of the football quick, so the linebackers have to be quick in space. I'm talking about Patrick Queen here. I'm also talking about Landon Roberts and Peyton Wilson. Can they go out there and can they guard the running backs out the backfield? Brian Robinson Jr. is questionable for this game, but they have other weapons as well. Austin Eckler, he bothers me in this matchup because even though the Steelers defense has been elite against the run this season, you look at what happened the last time they played against the New York Giants. Tracy Jr. went out there, averaged 7 yards a carry. And that man was putting the team on his back. You don't want to have that happen against Austin Eckler and the Washington Commanders. Austin Eckler is a very good dual running back, can catch the football at the backfield, can run in between the tackles. Do not let him take over this game. When the Washington Commanders lost against the Baltimore Ravens many weeks ago, what did the Ravens do? They went out there, they stopped the run, and they forced Jaden Daniels to get into a situation to where he had to pass the football. And the Commanders were still close in that game because of elite coaching and because Jaden Daniels is that good. But you have TJ Watt, you have Alex Highsmith as well. Those guys have to step up in this game and get after Jaden Daniels. Take away that run game and make this team one-dimensional. When I look at the secondary with the Steelers, Joey Porter Jr., he's been a very good cornerback this season. I expect for him to see a lot of Terry McLaurin in this matchup. You have to single him out and be on the lookout for Noah Brown as well. Force him to throw the ball to the tight end because Landon Roberts has been a very good linebacker this season, and Peyton Wilson has been as well. Patrick Queen is starting to get into his own, but pay attention to those tight ends in the middle of the field and pay attention to those screens as well. But when Jaden Daniels gets rid of the football as quick as possible, the linebackers have to make those tackles in space. Look at what the Steelers did against the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers getting the football out quick. They came up, they made a lot of tackles in space. That's what you have to do in this matchup. I'm looking at Joey Porter Jr., Mika Fitzpatrick in the secondary, and Benny Bishop as well, who's been phenomenal over the last couple of games for the Steelers. This is going to be a fun matchup. Personally, for me, this is my game of the week. You have two of the best teams in their conferences. The Washington Commanders, one of the best teams in the NFC. The Steelers right now, one of the best teams in the AFC. With that being said, this is going to be a close football game. I do have the Steelers winning this game 24-21. But let me know in the comment section below, who do you have winning this game? The Pittsburgh Steelers or the Washington Commanders? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.